Here in this bed, we've planted eggplant, and we're going to plant some more eggplant, and then we're going to, in between the eggplants, we're going to put some onions and some lettuces. Okay, that's called interplanting. And we're going to take our soil blocks, and we're going to show you the finished product of the seeding we did in the previous session and plant those soil blocks. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take this eggplant, and the eggplant, you want them to be roughly about 2 feet apart. Okay, just stick them right in the ground there, make it a little concave so it traps water, and we're going to go across here, have another one right there. Okay, this isn't the ideal time of day to plant these, but they've been soaking in water. The best time to transplant is early in the morning or later in the afternoon. Eggplant likes the really warm weather. And today is one of those days the eggplant will thrive. Okay, really. Let's get a couple more. One there, one there. Okay. As you can see, I don't really measure. I just sort of use my gauging skills. Okay. Some of these may be closer together than others. All right, so that's the eggplant. That's all planted. Now, at the beginning of the row, we still have some more room. I'm going to put 3 of these peppers. Okay. These peppers, these are Carmen peppers. These are frying peppers. Okay, they can be a little closer together. So I'm going to put one here, one there, and one here. Okay, so those peppers and eggplant are all planted. Now we've got a lot of space in here. We got a lot of space, so we're going to take, we don't want to waste space. We want to maximize production. So as you can see over there, over here, these are the onions, okay? Those long, thin plants are onions. Over there is garlic. The long, flatter leafed ones are garlic. So those onions were planted from what we call onion sets. These are onion sets, okay? They've already started to sprout, but they should be okay. So we're gonna interplant in between these plants with onions, okay? We're gonna make sure the root goes in the ground and the green part is coming up. So in between each one of these, we're going to put an onion. Supposedly the onions help distract the bugs, maybe with their intense smell. You know, I have no way of proving that, but that's sort of a traditional thing. Onions, garlic. Okay, and we'll put them pretty far apart just because they're going to get shaded. Typically, these onions would be planted about 5 or 6 inches apart if you want to get a nice big onion. These are Stuttgarter onions. These are storage onions. They'll keep for months in a cool, dry place. And in a further session, when we harvest these onions, I'll show you what you can do with them. So that's the onions. Now, let's see, we'll do one more there, one more there. Okay. All right, so we're gonna follow that up with planting some lettuce in between these plants. Okay, the lettuce is mature within anywhere from 45 to 60 days. So we're going to put some leaf lettuce in here, which matures faster, doesn't like the extremely hot weather. So by the time this eggplant is really taking off, hopefully the lettuce will be full size and we can harvest it. So I'm going to take this little putty knife and I'm going to scoop out one of these little blocks. You remember we started these little blocks a couple of months ago. Okay, that's a little block. You can see the roots are not confined, they're not all bunched up, and we simply take that and we'll put one of those right there in between. As these grow up, this fills in the space. Okay, let's take another variety. That particular variety was called Dark Lola Rosa. So we'll label that. This one is Krakowiensis, and there are literally hundreds of varieties of lettuce. Okay, it's not something, there's not just iceberg lettuce. And we'll take one of these. This looks like an oak leaf, which is shaped like an oak leaf. Okay, and we'll squeeze these in here and there. Okay, so the soil block, again, there's no plastic. The roots are free and aerated, and you simply stick it in. Make sure the soil is at the same line as the top of the block or slightly concave to trap water. Okay, so you could fill this whole bed in with these little guys. Okay, let's do one more. And we'll get this one for variety's sake. This one looks like red salad bowl. Okay, this is a red salad bowl. And I'm going to come back later in the day when it's a little cooler and fill more of these in. But for now, that's all we're going to do in this bed. Okay, so that's called interplanting. That's called interplanting. Actually, I don't see any flea beetles on them at this point, so I think we're just going to cover this right up for now before the flea beetles come, and maybe tomorrow earlier in the day I'm going to spray the spinosad, which again kills the flea beetles. They haven't quite discovered these plants yet. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to put the covering on those. Flexible wire hoops. Okay, and we put one at the end there, about right there, push them in the ground, and about every 3 or 4 feet we're going to put one of these guys. And again, why are we doing this? We're doing this because we want to protect these plants from the flea beetles, and also because they like the warmth. And usually I don't plant peppers and eggplant until the last week in May. So I'm sort of a week earlier than I usually am. But as you all know, the weather is unpredictable, and I think they'll be fine right now. One more here. These, again, you can find in catalogs. One more. I'm going to drape this over this whole bed. We'll start down this end. This allows about 85% of the sunlight through, so the plants can still photosynthesize, and it lets water in, but it keeps the cold air out and it keeps some of the bugs out, which is a big plus. Now this has little holes in it here and there, so hopefully those little flea beetles won't somehow find their way through those little holes. This stuff will last 3 or 4 years if you take really good care of it, but it's really hard to take really good care of it when you're out in the garden all the time and you're lifting it up, and it tears fairly easily, but it's also fairly tough. So just got to be careful with it. That one's a little bit too. There. That's better. And that's that. I gotta get some more stakes, stake it down a little more securely. But that's what we do. And hopefully we do it well. And hopefully the plants survive. And when you take this off, you're always surprised. Either your plants have doubled or tripled in size, or you take them off, and like that bed over there that I showed you before, 3/4 of the plants are eaten down to nothing. So there's always a surprise when you take this agribond off. But under the best case scenario, the plants are beautiful and healthy and fairly bug-free. Okay? All right, that's it for today. I think we're gonna head out and relax a bit and move on to something else. All right. Thanks for spending some time in Uncle John's garden. And we'll be back soon to look at what's happened with our beans and squash and potatoes and tomatoes, and hopefully we'll be eating a lot of fresh produce really soon. Okay, thank you, and get gardening.